Streaming now, this is the Wood TV Live Desk.
And good morning, everyone. Phil Penarski here with the Wood TV Live Desk. Hope you're all having a fantastic start to your Thursday. Tomorrow is, of course, National Donut Day, and that in and of itself is good enough reason to talk about donuts, but we actually have a bigger reason to discuss donuts today down in Martin, Michigan. This Saturday, it is the Dirty Donut Bike Race, and to talk a little bit more about this extraordinary event, we are now being joined by Dan Frazier. He is the director of the race. Dan, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Phil. Nice to be here.
Yeah, no, definitely glad to have the chance to talk to you. Let's talk a little bit about this race to get started. The Dirty Donut Bike Race, obviously taking part in Martin, Michigan. There are a few races that people can participate in and also kind of just watch from the sidelines and offer their support. There's a 61-mile trek all the way down to a 10-mile beginner race. Tell us a little bit about the event itself.
So, like you said, we have a 61-mile race, a 41-mile race, a 22, and a 10. And what the donut race is about, it's kind of a unique thing. We have a race, and most bike races start and finish and you never stop. But this one, you can start and stop halfway through at 3 different donut stops depending on your race distance and eat donuts. So what's cool about it is for every donut you eat, we mark on your jersey with a magic marker with a special color. And we take 5 minutes off your finish time when you come back for every donut you ate.
Mm-hmm. Right. So if you ate a dozen donuts, you could shave off a pretty decent chunk of time off your race there.
Correct. Yes. If you ate a dozen, I think it was 12 times 60 minutes. That's like an hour.
Yeah, exactly. So
and if you're really good, you could finish with a negative time.
And Dan, just how did this race sort of get started? It's a pretty cool concept. Obviously, you're giving people the chance to race and kind of compete. You're also giving them the chance to eat donuts and really just have a good old time. How did this whole thing get started?
So I think it was back in 2015. My second ever bike race was at a place that I don't think it exists now, but it was in Granville called Clackle Orchards. Mm-hmm. And they would do a donut race. And I thought it was really cool, the concept of it. And then I think they closed the donut race the next year. And so I looked at it and I said, one day I want to do one of these myself. So as gravel racing started to get more popular in the U.S., it just kind of fit. And we found a weekend that was open because a couple other races had went away. And I was getting close to my retirement time, so we decided to go ahead and give it a shot.
Mm-hmm. Right. And we were talking a little bit earlier, but I think it is pretty important to note, especially in this conversation, Dan, just how many riders are expected to participate in this. We talked yesterday, and that number was about 800 riders. Now it is far beyond that. Talk a little bit about how many people are expected to head down to Martin this weekend.
So I'm super excited to say that in our 4th year of existence, we already have 900 registered as of this morning. Mm-hmm. We have a cap of 1,000, so we may come close to that. And but what's really unique, I guess, about the donut part is to get enough donuts. We have 6,300 donuts coming for this event.
That's quite a bit of donuts there, Dan. And let's just talk a little bit about the donuts. We're having a couple of questions right now. What kind of donuts or where they're coming from? What kind of donuts can some of the riders expect to be kind of, chowing down on while they're doing this trek?
So we have Walmart is our sponsor for donuts, and they make a awesome glazed donut that they'll start making tonight, and they'll work throughout the night to make all those donuts for us.
Oh, wow.
So that they're still fresh. And then we'll pick them up first thing tomorrow and distribute it to our donut stops. But we have all the donuts. They come from Walmart. If you'd have signed up earlier, we're out of them now, but we also have gluten-free ones and vegan ones. So they've all been accounted for, but in the future, if somebody wants to race with us, we have those options as well.
Right, and you guys already have some of the dates planned for the upcoming races as well. All of that information can be found right now on our website, woodtv.com as well. Dan, I would like to kind of go into a little bit about some of the prizes that you guys are giving out for those who are racing to compete, not so much to just really enjoy the atmosphere and the donuts as well, but for those who are actually trying to compete and win these races, what are some of the prizes that they can win?
So if you're really, really, really good at eating donuts, we have all kinds of prizes. So to start there, I'll go there and then I'll go to what everybody gets just for signing up. So if you win one of our overall donut races, you get a trophy, which is a really nice 1 foot by 1 foot acrylic trophy. You get a free entry to next year's race. You get a yellow jersey similar to a big race in France that also gives away yellow jerseys to the winners. And we also give you a really cool 3D custom medal that looks similar to the design behind my head here. And so we also have we have a sprint race, which is also a race for cyclists who don't want to do the donut part. It's a point to point, start to finish, you never stop. And for the sprint race, we give away the same prizes, but also a green jersey. And then we have a thing called the King and Queen of the Donut, which is similar to cycling's King and Queen of the Mountains. So for them, they give away a polka dot jersey for the best climber. We give away a polka dot with the polka dots are actually little donuts jersey that is for the best donut eater, male and female in their class. And we also have a team one where you can get a jersey as well for the top 5 in the team. And then for just for signing up, you get a T-shirt, you get a finisher's medal at the finish of the race, which is really nice. And for the 22, 41, and 61 mile, we give everybody a free lunch. It's a barbecue lunch, or you can select a vegan option as well. But for the 10-mile race, since that's more of a beginner type race, in order to lower the price to make it more attractive to people who are wanting to think about starting to do cycling races or whatnot, we skipped the meal for that so that we could make it cheaper for them. So, but yeah, I might even be forget. Oh, I'm sorry. The biggest thing of all is if you're in an age division. I'm sorry, let's say for example, I'm over 50, so I would be in the 50 plus age division. And for every 10 years, we have medals for your age division and whatever race you're in. So I think we have 400 possible first through third medals to give away.
Yeah.
And then we have a huge stage. So, I mean, it really looks like a pro event. We have a big background in the back that you can stand up on the podium and people can take pictures, and we kind of try to do it upright.
Right. No, definitely a lot of extras that people are getting just by signing up and taking part in this race, Dan. But it's not just the riders who are getting something out of this, of course. Some of the proceeds do go towards the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Can you just touch on a little bit about just sort of the philanthropy aspect of the Dirty Donut Bike Race?
So part of what we try to do is support Make-A-Wish. My wife and I are big supporters of Make-A-Wish, and so we try to give away as much as we can. The race isn't 100% for Make-A-Wish, just to be clear, but we give some money to the Martin schools who host us, and they're awesome, and we appreciate them hosting us. And so if you come to this race and you eat a dozen donuts, and it sounds really easy to do, but it's not. But if you can eat a dozen donuts, we have a program called Taylor's Dirty Dozen, and you become part of that club. And once you're in that club, for everybody who achieves that this year, we're going to give $100 to Make-A-Wish guaranteed. And we hope to be able to give more, but we'll guarantee that based on how many people do it. Taylor's Dirty Dozen Club comes from a young lady who passed away at a young age, and she was a very giving person. And because of that, we decided to name the race the club after her.
Right. No, and it's definitely for a good cause, and we're definitely glad to be covering that aspect of it. I'm glad we were able to touch on that aspect of the race as well. But Dan, we're getting a couple of questions now for people that are interested in actually participating. I know we mentioned earlier that it caps off at about 1,000 riders. You guys are getting kind of close to that. What is sort of the best way for people who are interested to really register for this race?
So today our online registration is available. If you go to our website, dirtydonutrace.com, and click on the registration button, there's a link there for Bike Reg. BikeReg.com is our software that we use to do that, and they're great. So it's a really easy process. That registration for online will stay open today until 5 p.m. And then once that closes, if we have not reached 1,000 yet, which it'll be a pretty good ask to reach 1,000 before 5 p.m. today. But if we haven't reached that yet, whatever remains, we'll have registration open tomorrow at 3 p.m. to 8 at the Martin High School, and then again on race morning beginning at 6:30.
And Dan, just kind of wrapping up, typically with events like this, I like to give everybody the chance to make their final pitch out to the people. So, everybody watching, we want to turn the floor over to you now, Dan. Why should people not only take part in the Dirty Donut bike race in Martin, Michigan this Saturday, but, maybe even just coming out and supporting all those riders?
So, one, it's a great family event. We have a really good family aspect to this. Our 10-mile race filled up. It's not full, but it surpassed our goals this year, and it has a lot of people racing in it. And it was set up mostly for newer riders and kids. And so I'm very excited at how many kids we got coming out to race this. And just to be clear, it's also a gravel race. So if you have a road bike, it's probably not the best one to bring this weekend, because gravel usually tends to require a little bit wider tire. But if you have a cruiser bike or a mountain bike or a gravel bike or a fat bike, those will all work on the terrain that we're riding on. So it's just a big fun event, and the riders, if you want to come and watch, it's something that the riders enjoy to see people cheering them on at the finish. And I thank you guys for hosting us and spreading the word.
Yeah, of course. No, we were glad we were able to set this up, Dan. And as a reminder to everybody, if you're looking for more information either on the race or potentially even looking to sign up, there are only a few spots left. Be sure to head on over to our website, woodtv.com. You'll find all the links you need to the Dirty Donut Race's official website, courtesy of Dan. That is all on our website, woodtv.com right now. If you're watching us on Facebook, just head on down to the comment section or description box. You'll find a link directly to that story right now. Dan, thank you again so much for coming on the live desk today. We really do appreciate it, and we look forward to hearing more about the Dirty Donut bike race this weekend.
Hey, Phil, thanks a bunch. And for those of you that want to support, I'm sorry, I'm throwing this in at the last minute.
No, go ahead.
Another way you can support Make-A-Wish and be a rider is July, I believe it's 26, 27, 28. You can go to what's called the WHAM ride. Wish a Mile is what it's about. And it is done by Make-A-Wish of Michigan. And you can ride 100 miles, 200 miles, or 300 miles over 3 days. You get to choose. And it's the biggest fundraiser for Michigan Make-A-Wish in Michigan. So that's another way you can help support Make-A-Wish if you're into that. And if you are, we really appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Dan, thank you so much for adding that little tidbit. And again, thank you so much for coming on the live desk today. And I want to thank everybody else for tuning in to this latest edition of the Wood TV Live Desk. I'm Phil Pinarski, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.